Okay, what I want to point out is right here is a scratch awl that somebody improperly used, that one. And this one has been sharpened and has remained sharp. Notice the difference of the tip on the two of them, how this one has been rounded off. Do not gouge this into things that will round it off like that. Do not rub it like to the point where it will scratch it off. We want a scratch awl to be nice and sharp so that it scratches. Make sense? Questions? All right. I'm going to show you a few different measuring tools that some of you haven't ever used. Anybody know what this is called? Matthew? Caliper. A caliper, okay? Technically, this is called a dial caliper. There's a vernier caliper. There is a digital caliper. We mainly use dial calipers in here. So here I'm going to show you a little technique that I use sparingly, but we can set it to 2. And this is a 6-inch dial caliper, it's called. And you're going to learn all about how to read one of these. First thing that we did is we started by zeroing it out. Taking these jaws, cleaning them off, push it all the way tight. Move your dial and then make sure that your dial is tight, exactly at 0. Then we're going to move it over to 2 inches. So it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to this 10 would be 1, okay, 1 inch. And then again over to 2. And again, we go into a lot more detail later on this, but we're at 2 inches. I lock this in so that it remains pretty solid, okay? So I can actually take this as a measuring device, make a parallel edge, just like that. I will parallel from here 2 inches. I can do the same thing over here, 2 inches. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's one option. Another option is I can use this combination square. Combination square, usually the ruler's about 12 inches. Most of them that we have in here are. Combination, it works good because we can use it for a lot of different things. That's a square of a 45 degrees. There is a little bit of a level in there, okay? There's a little vial, so that will help read level. And what that does is it'll read horizontal level here, but with the square being in here, it kind of counts as a vertical level as well. What we mainly use them as is marking gauges. And what I do is I put this right on the head at 2 inches. Okay, this side also has a metric rule on it, which we live in America, so we don't deal with metric very often unless we have to. But this particular project, all of our measurements are in the imperial system, so we're using inches. So what we're doing is I already laid out over here. This is our plan, just how it sits. 15 wide, 14 tall. I went in 2 there and scratched a mark there. Went in 2 here, scratched a mark there with my caliper. I'm kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit different. I set this to 2. I'm going, if you can get wherever, you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm doing that kind of a 2-step process. One is I'm bringing my combination square over. And 2, I'm taking my scratch awl, scratching it right on that edge, okay? I made a mark there. Now, I want to point out, earlier I said, like there's going to be times in like this project, we probably would have been adequate by just using a Sharpie, right? But I want you guys to look at this really, really, really close. I could take a Sharpie, make a mark there. Look at the thickness difference between my Sharpie and that little scratch, right? That's why the more precise of a marking device we want. If we got a pencil that's super sharp, we can make a little sharp mark. But if we got a fat carpenter's pencil, that mark's gonna come out to be like that wide. Well, now where are we measuring to? The center of it, the left side of it, the right side? You know what I mean? So that's the reason why we shoot for precision. And I try to get you thinking in that realm right off the bat. So I came in 2 off on my left side, 2 off on my right side. Now I'm gonna start working my way up. And what I usually do personally is I'll lay out my 4 3/8 mark first and my 6 3/8. Then I come back and do this 3/8 mark. I always try to do my like biggest marks first. So for that 4 3/8 mark, one thing I want to point out is I always set up and I do both of them at once, okay? I don't do this side separately and then come back tomorrow and do this side. I do them all at once. So I'm laying this out, and if your brain needs it, look at your plan, lay everything out, and don't be scared. I got Sharpies. Don't be scared to write bottom, top, and then, you know, somewhere back in this vicinity, that's gonna be the back, okay? Don't be scared to put that stuff on there. To always, you know, class is gonna end today. You're gonna come back tomorrow. You wanna make sure that your brain is still on that wavelength of thought that you were on, so that you don't come back and screw something up. So 4 3/8, I'm gonna make that mark. And while I still have this set up, I jump right over here and I make this mark. Questions? If you feel like you need to, you can kind of point this out, that's where your mark is, so that then your eye can catch that a little better. Again, we can make some notes on it with a Sharpie, but that's the basis. Again, lay out your main marks, come back in, and then I'm gonna show you a detail later on how to lay out this hem, because this hem always kind of catches students off guard a little bit. So don't worry about this angled hem. Do all the rest of them, and we'll go from there. Got it? And then I will show you the next steps of how to cut. Do you have any questions? Okay, you can cut it.